We move next here tonight to our cover story, and this letter that we received from a woman named Gabriella Mashad saying, quote, what was a picture-perfect dream apartment has turned into a nightmare. Well, that started our team down the road of uncovering what actually happened to her and in her walls of her home. She told us that her Apollo Beach apartment is just not safe to live in. And tonight, ABC Action News reporter Jada Williams with what was growing inside her home that made it unlivable.
So I was like, to me, this was a dream apartment.
But now, just a little over a year after moving in, Gabriella Mashad feels her apartment at Ripley at Waterset in Hillsborough County is not safe to live in. She says it all stems from September of 2022, when she noticed an issue with her air conditioning, just weeks after moving in.
They told me it was condensation. The AC was leaking, which it's been leaking since. And it took them until October 19th of this year to fix.
Eventually, she bought an at-home, do-it-yourself mold test. These right here are mold tests that you've done.
Yes, and my apartment complex does not accept those as legitimate.
1 month before her lease officially ends, her apartment is now filled with moving boxes.
I've had to throw out pretty much all of my unpainted canvases, besides the ones that are plastic wrapped. The ones that are painted, I've been trying to salvage. It's not a fun thing when this is your source of income to be able to afford to live here.
Mashad shared these pictures with us of what's behind her AC unit door. We wanted to see it ourselves, but the AC unit is locked, only accessible by maintenance. And this is one of the areas that you used one of the mold kits.
Yeah, so I swabbed like between here and the vent to try to get a better, because I couldn't obviously access it.
While she says it's mold, she tells us her apartment complex told her it's organic growth. I reached out to Willowbridge, the property management company in charge of the complex. The complex sent me a link to the Florida Department of Health, where they say they don't recommend mold testing or sampling to see if there's a mold problem in your home.
It's frustrating. It's gotten to the point where I've broken down crying in the office. I'm upset, to say the least. It's a lot, and sorry. It's very frustrating.
She then called code enforcement.
There was a lot more when he was here. It has been cleaned up a little better. He saw mold. There was mold all in here. There still is mold.
We went straight to Hillsborough County Code Enforcement ourselves to get more information. In a statement, the county told me, according to Hillsborough County Code Enforcement, the apartment owner was cited last week for 2 violations: a hole in the ceiling that had been inadequately repaired and an organic growth on the baseboards. The owner has the standard 10 days to correct the violations. We also received those official citations. It directs the apartment complex to patch up the hole in the roof, initially left uncovered due to the leak, then later patched with cardboard and tape. When I visited Mashad Wednesday, maintenance had already fixed it. As for the organic material, it reads, the interiors of all buildings and facilities shall be kept free of any visible or otherwise demonstrative growth of mold or mildew. The report specifically states organic material. When I asked the county if we can classify it as mold, they told me code enforcement doesn't test the substances because it's against code to have anything growing, whether it's mold, mildew, or simply organic growth. Mashad says she's not taking any chances, and that's why she has to let go of her dream apartment.
It didn't live up to the expectation.
In a statement, Willowbridge said, quote, we take residents' concerns seriously and pride ourselves in trying to remedy any issues as quickly as we can. When we learned of these concerns, we contracted with a Florida-licensed third-party mold expert to inspect the unit. The resident is in the process of moving out, so we will address any recommended maintenance as soon as the unit is vacant. In Apollo Beach, Jada Williams, ABC Action News.
And we wanted to do a little bit more research on these mold testing kits that you can buy and test at home. So we consulted with the Florida Department of Health and Environmental Protection Agency. Here's what we found as I put it all on the board for you here. Both agencies caution against the accuracy of these at-home mold tests and recommend having a professional come out to inspect any sign of mold that you may have. That's because these testing kits could easily be contaminated when you ship the kit back, where the package could end up encountering heat or humidity. Also, the test kits do not account for dead mold spores or the type of mold that actually may not make you sick. So a lot of variables here to consider when it comes to those testing kits.
So this is a normal brain scan. As you can see, the brain is gray, and the outside structure you can see here are the nose and the eyes. And as I scroll up, you start seeing this bright mass that is not supposed to be there. All the supportive treatments were started right away, but unfortunately this type of infection revealed to be a very aggressive mold that we commonly find in our soil or even in our household. But once it reaches the bloodstream, either through dirty needles or sometimes even through snorting of drugs, can have very lethal consequences because it invades the brain, creates a severe inflammation that ultimately leads to increased intracranial pressure that leads to death.
Popcorn, candy, and mold. Ugh. These gross conditions exposed inside a movie theater in South Atlanta that some of you may have been to. An employee snapping images of mildew at AMC Camp Creek. The employee even speaking out, complaining about the issue to management.
Yeah, CBS 46's Zach Summers is live outside the theater on Princeton Lake Parkway. And Zach, do we know how long this has been an issue there? Kind of surprising no one has gotten sick so far. Maybe they have.
Yeah, you know, the employee says it's been a problem for far too long, and he's speaking up because he says anyone who comes to see a movie here, they deserve to know what they're walking into.
It's gotten so bad.
Lurking in the dark inside AMC Camp Creek 14.
There was big patches and like frosty stuff.
A potential health hazard for moviegoers.
This is definitely unsafe or not how it's supposed to be done.
Tariq Hall is an AMC Theaters employee. He shared these images, which appear to show mold and mildew coated on the carpet, seats, and walls inside the Southwest Atlanta Theater.
The lights are like dim, so if you're not really like looking at it, you probably won't notice it.
Hall first noticed the problem last September. He says he told managers about it on 2 separate occasions, but they didn't take it seriously.
It kind of was humiliating, kind of felt like it didn't really matter.
One boss reportedly told him to simply dust it off the wall. Another, he says, told him to spray the fungi with sanitizer and wipe it up.
Wipe one section, you can really get underneath the carpet, underneath that wall to take it out. It's just going to keep growing.
CBS 46 reached out to AMC corporate offices. We're told Camp Creek 14 is undergoing a full detailed cleaning. A company spokesperson adding in a statement, quote, following recent inspections, AMC immediately contracted a third-party vendor to remediate the situation in impacted auditoriums. Additionally, AMC has installed bipolar ionization units, which help eliminate microbial growth and clean the air in the auditoriums.
Hopefully this makes them kind of wake up and be like, okay, we have to really deal with it. Like, we can't just keep putting a Band-Aid on top of it.
And as you can see, the theater remains open throughout that ongoing cleaning. AMC Theater says it will continue to monitor the situation here at Camp Creek 14, that it will monitor it closely with regular inspections. We're live in Southwest Atlanta. Zach Summers, CBS 46 News.
Zach, thank you.
Now, a Channel 2 Action News investigation. People living in these senior apartments say they're infested with mold and it's actually making them sick. Take a look at that. They reached out to Channel 2 Action News for help. Investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln is live in Lawrenceville with complaints of what's being called toxic mold. Ashley.
It's very bad, Karen. My photographer and I, we were in one of those units this afternoon, and within minutes, we found it difficult to breathe. Seniors telling us they feel like their health is in jeopardy while staying in these apartments.
Everything from coats to jackets, it was just full of mold.
It's a mold issue this Gwinnett County renter says she can no longer be silent about.
It needs to be called out.
She did not want her face shown out of fear of retaliation, but says for months she and other renters have dealt with mold in their units at the Redland Creek Villa senior apartment. Several tenants have gone online to complain about this issue.
Everybody's getting sick as far as irritation, breathing, headaches.
Back in November, she took these pictures after discovering mold in her closets.
It's uncomfortable to breathe.
She says management hired a mold company to assess her unit and others, but they refused to release the findings to tenants.
He said, we're not giving you the report.
So she hired her own company.
I want them to fix it.
I went through that independent report and it noted the presence of highly toxic molds. Several molds that are found outdoors were located in her unit. That report attributes this to wood decay.
He said either they left the drywall out and it's wet, he said, but it's contaminated through the building.
I spoke with the property manager and she said she was unaware of any mold complaints.
It's been frustrating because we haven't been able to get anybody to help us.
And we sent an email to the complex's corporate office. We found they're based in Missouri. They have not responded to our email or our calls. Now, many of these seniors told us they're having to take drastic measures just to go to sleep at night. We'll explain what they're doing on Channel 2 Action News at 6. Reporting live tonight in Lawrenceville, Ashley Lincoln, Channel 2 Action News.
I'm News 8's Tina Detel in Groton, where tenants here at the Branford Manor Apartments have been complaining for years about mold. The owner, Related Companies, has made repairs and continues to do so, but the city of Groton and the town of Groton say it is not enough and have now both voted to find the owner in default of their tax abatement agreement on more than $500,000. Today, Senator Richard Blumenthal joined the chorus of voices calling for the mold to be removed. Blumenthal, along with Senator Chris Murphy, have sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which oversees public housing and Section 8 apartments, calling on HUD to revamp its inspection process.
Not only testing for mold, which is a deeply serious health hazard, but also demanding action from this landlord to clean up the mold. HUD's criterion standards for its inspection have not even measured mold.
2 years just moving into there. My daughter started having grand mal seizures.
This is tenant Sandra Fetter's apartment. Now, she's not home because she has been staying in a hotel since May 17th because of the mold issues, she says, which are inside. Now, she is hoping all this attention finally makes a difference. In Groton, Tina Detel, News 8.